Thanks for clicking on this video. So this video today, I wanted to talk about becoming a better artist, tips to become a better artist. So for those who follow me on TikTok, I go on live a lot, like a few times a week, and I draw and I obviously interact with my viewers. I wanted to make this video today because one of the topics that keep coming up is how to be a better artist. And I've had a lot of people come and they're like, you're really good. I could never do that. I could never do this. And that's not true. I have been drawing and doing anything artistic since I was like 4 years old. And the beauty with art is that it's a ongoing learning process. I'm 31 and I'm still learning how to draw. I'm still teaching myself how to draw. I'm still teaching myself new tricks because the thing with being an artist is as technology adapts, so does the artist. So I really don't believe that like when you stop where you are, you stop. Like that's as good as you're gonna be. I don't believe that for a second. So I wanted to make this video for people who I guess want inspiration, but also my take on how to become a better artist, like honest tips to do better. So for myself, you don't have to go to school to be an artist. That's like one of the beautiful things about being an artist. You don't have to go to school. Unless you want it to be like your ultimate career, then, someone gave me advice and then I went to school for graphic design. She said, if you are good enough, there are people out there that will hire you. But if you want to have like a little extra bit of assurance, go to school. But not everybody can afford school. Trust me, I'm still paying student loans. However, like I said, technology is starting to grow, obviously. So use technology to your advantage. There are so many artists that post their own tutorials. There are artists that post their own work and how-to videos, speed paints. If you want to get better, you have to be dedicated and committed to getting better, which is learning, teaching yourself. And to be quite honest, when I was actually in college, I felt like I was teaching myself anyway, and they were just taking money and giving me all these requirements and courses I had to take. I honestly learned more by myself than going to school. There is a website that I use. It's called class101.net. I don't know if there are other resources out there, other websites with artists that will give their tutorials, but class101.net, you have to subscribe to it. It is, I believe, like $100 or a little bit over $100 a year. You can pay monthly, but there's like a bunch of artists on there with all different styles. They'll give you tutorials and you'll find artists with the same tutorials but in their own way. So which is nice because you can learn different art styles and different processes of how to learn. And maybe one artist is maybe they make more sense to you versus another artist. Maybe their tutorial works better for you than another artist. So learning from the source, like the actual teacher, really does matter. But you can find these tutorials and artists and videos online. So if you don't want to go to school, you can still pay for a lot cheaper for courses online, especially if you want to do digital art. So like for me, I'm a digital artist. If you are a traditional artist, go take a class, go take a painting class. Invest in learning, invest in knowledge, but don't tell yourself, I could never do that. I can't learn that. Art is an ongoing learning process. If you want to do better, dedicate yourself and be consistent. Consistency. And then speaking of consistency, practice, of course. Practice every day, or if you can't practice every day, definitely do warm-ups, exercises, stuff like that. Again, my background is graphic design, but I do digital illustration. I'm also teaching myself how to tattoo, and to be honest, I think it's going pretty good so far. But you need to practice. Practice is definitely the number one thing that's going to help you. Personally, like when I was doing graphic design, or I was like in the beginning of graphic design, I was giving myself like fake projects, like, oh, if I met somebody who did this or had this business or whatever, what would I make them? So sometimes you have to give yourself projects to give yourself the experience. So I make it up. Like I've done a brand identity, like a brand design identity for myself or my husband. He's a chef. So that's in the graphic design perspective. But it's the same thing with all types of art. So again, if you want to do traditional art, if you want to do digital art, you can find resources nowadays where you don't have to go to college, you don't have to go to university. Follow along with them, and you can learn that way. Another thing, especially if you are a digital artist, this is what I do. I go through phases where I have like favorite artists, and then my style starts to develop over 2-3 artists that I follow, right? So what I tend to do is I find their art, or if there is something that I really love about their style, I will screenshot their work. I won't repost it, obviously, but I will copy their work. I will try to copy their work as much as I can. And when I say copy, I mean I try to duplicate their work, because everything with drawing is like muscle memory, right? So if you have an artist and you like their style, or you want to learn how to draw like them, you need to draw like them. You need to copy their work. You need to, I don't know, personally, I will take like a screenshot of somebody's art and I will trace their line work, and I will trace their line work, and I will try to copy the way they draw their eyes or their lips or their body, right? And it's not really copying. You have to think of it as like a study. You're studying a specific style of an artist that you love. You're studying the way they do things. You want to get better and you see their anatomy, you like how they draw their anatomy or their faces or whatever. Copy them. Copy them so you learn and you gain this muscle memory of drawing, and eventually your style will begin to develop on its own, but you have the influence from that artist. Or maybe if you're lucky, they have their own tutorials that you can copy, right? So a lot of people frown upon that. A lot of people don't want you to copy the artist, but it's a study. Like, how do you think other artists learn? They learn from another artist too. They learn from their favorite artists, which develop their own style, and here we are again. Art is like this, drawing and art is like this never-ending loop of being inspired, copying, and then creating it into something of your own. And then you inspire somebody else. Yeah, those are my main things that I do. Definitely do a lot of research though. Research your artist, research tutorials, research, practice, but don't sell yourself short. Don't think you can't do it. I'm a very interdisciplinary artist. So like I said, I do graphic design, I do drawing, now I'm doing tattooing. And there's always this stigma, even in the tattoo industry, that you can't teach yourself. But now more and more and more people in this generation are starting to teach themselves, and they're kind of moving away from the toxic tattoo culture. I've seen plenty of tattoo artists that are like self-taught and they make bomb tattoos. Like, that's how art is, no matter what form it is. You can always teach yourself and develop your own skill, develop your own style. A lot of them are moving away from the tattoo culture. A lot of the tattoo old heads are getting pissed off about it. My point is, you can always teach yourself if you have the resources. There's so many resources now with the technology we have nowadays, but consistency is key. If you want to get better at something, you have to be consistent. That's with anything too. You got to be disciplined, you got to be consistent. For me, personally, I'm in this like new journey of tattooing and learning how to tattoo, but you could be in this journey of drawing or graphic design or videography or traditional art like painting or sculpture. Use the resources. And in time, you will get better. So yeah, I hope my video helped or gave you some insight. I hope it helps even a little bit. But yeah, thanks for watching. You can follow me on TikTok. Again, I do lives. I post a little bit about everything on there, my journey as an artist. You can follow me on Patreon and follow my journey there. I post whips and drawings and videos, and I've got tutorials on there too, besides my YouTube. Check my Patreon out. I have a print club going on as well. You can pay for a monthly and you get my art prints. And I wish you good luck on your journey, but don't give up. Just be consistent, do your research, practice, and in time you'll get better.